because it's one of those characteristics of God that is so different than our own. It's his view of servanthood and service is it's a rebuke to our own fallen human nature and the way we view it. So I wanted to talk a few minutes about Matthew 10. That's where my mind went. So if you want to turn there to Matthew chapter 10, it's probably a familiar passage to you. Christ, the old hymn says, Christ was born a king on Bethlehem's plain. And the wise men, when they came to find Jesus, they went straight to the king, because they saw his star and they said, a significant person has been born, he's going to be a king. And they didn't find him in the palace. If you had a choice, and you're God, and you can come any way you want, where would you actually want to be born? He was born, not even, well, you know the story. They laid him in a manger because there wasn't any room in the inn, as low as you can get. That kind of is an indication of God's heart and how he views this. So let's look at James or Mark 10:35. And James and John, the two sons of Zebedee, this is verse 35, came up to him, saying to him, Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you. Wow. Okay. And he said to them, what do you want me to do for you? And they said to him, grant that we may sit in your glory, one on your right and one on your left. Now, if I asked my granddaughters what they thought of that passage, I think they'd say that's a very cringe-worthy passage. It just makes you cringe. And actually, there's a parallel passage in Matthew 20, but we'll have to save that one for Mother's Day, because actually, James and John's mother brings them up and kind of says, come on, boys, ask him. And so, anyway, but Jesus said to them, you do not know what you are asking for. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or to be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized? And they said to him, we are able. And Jesus said to them, the cup that I drink, you shall drink, and you shall be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized. But to sit on my right or my left, this is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared. Someone is going to sit there. And my feeling is they're going to be as shocked as anybody else. Okay? Think about this and bear with me. I've been around HOAs. Anyone here in an HOA? How about in business, you have the various levels of leadership. There is a person that actually desires to be in a position of authority. Servanthood is not in their makeup. The last person you want to have an authority is the one who wants to be an authority. You want the person that doesn't want to be in authority, because they, as Jesus is going to get into, will not abuse that position and lord it over you. What you really want is the servant. So, someone is going to sit there, though. And I think it's going to be someone we never would expect and maybe haven't ever heard of. Because Jesus has God has a lot of people to choose from, right? Over millennia. And hearing this, the 10 began to feel indignant with James and John. That's why it's so cringeworthy. And calling them to himself, this is a teachable moment. Jesus said to them, you know that those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them. They love their authority. They love to exert their authority. They love to have control. They love to make the little people remember that they're just the little people or the big people. And their great men exercise authority over them. That's just the natural man. But this is the key. This really kind of reveals how God views this whole thing. But it is not so among you, but whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant. And whoever wishes to be first among you shall be slave of all. For, and here we go, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. So, in God's economy, in the Christian view, servanthood is something that you aspire to, not something you flee from. It's that thing you want to grasp hold of. Thank you.